What's keeping CEOs up at night? You might think it's shareholder meetings, what's going on Wall Street, etc. Maybe on Tuesday. But every other night, culture is what keeps them up. Because culture has changed everything. We are in a true cultural crisis, and most CEOs are completely unarmed. They're scared to admit it, but it's true. Surrounded by incredibly talented, very, very intelligent people, they're still exposed. For all of the MBAs and law degrees and 20 years of experience doing this and 30 years of experience leading teams, they don't have anyone who understands culture. And I don't mean what you put on a sign and throw in your employee dining room. Lord knows we don't need more of that. I'm talking about someone who can look at Bud Light before Dylan Mulvaney receives that case of beer and says, this is not a good idea. I'm talking about the type of person that can look at Cracker Barrel and say, you might want to second guess that logo change. I'm talking about someone who can look at Target and say, before you make that big commitment to DEI, let's look at how this could play out if you need to make a change. There is no one doing that. That is why the most intelligent, brilliant CEOs are exposed, and that keeps them up at night. They can't name the problem. They're not quite sure what it is, but they know there's a problem. What's the cost of inaction? What happens if you continue to allow these brilliant teams to drive you off of a cliff? You end up with a brand that has no equity, no authority, no trust. You lose control of the narrative, just like Cracker Barrel did. You lose control of your customer trust, like Target, and then you threaten everything about your reputation. Ask Bud Light. All of this is preventable. For whatever reason, we don't want to admit that we don't understand culture. But that's the problem. We know how to handle hiring. We know how to handle marketing. Okay, maybe we don't know how to do all of this, but we're better at that. Culture, we think, includes pizza parties. I assure you, pizza parties and ping pong tables are not the solution, not even close. Here's what needs to happen. We need to first and foremost acknowledge the business world has changed. Customers used to just take whatever was offered to them. Do you remember those days? Before social media? Hell, even before 2020. Customers just kind of took it. They didn't necessarily like it, but whatever the company said, that's what happened. We also had a time where people didn't realize the power of their dollars. Now they do. That's a culture shift. That's not just black and white, male and female. That is a cultural change that corporations have not adapted to, and you need to. Thinking that you can change a logo without consulting your core customer is a failure. Thinking you can introduce a new core customer whose values are misaligned with your true core customer is a fail. These are cultural shifts that corporations are missing. And here's something else. If your brand, listen very carefully, if your brand can be undone, if a decision you've made can be undone by one person tweeting or one person sending you an email, you have problems. You are not walking on solid ground. You aren't building on solid ground. You are not standing on solid ground. You have problems. Culture has changed. When are you going to adapt?